go. Hello guys, my name is Anna Gonzalez and I'm here with Miss Corzo, who is going to answer a couple of questions for me. Okay, so the first question I want to ask you is what kind of English language learner program do you teach in?
Yeah,
go for
we
it.
are in the early exit bilingual program, so that means that students by third grade they're all English. So they start off pre-K, kinder, Spanish, and they have one subject as English. Then through first grade, I believe it changes to like 2 subjects in English, and then all Spanish. Second grade, it becomes only 1 semester all Spanish, and then the second semester it's all English, and then by third grade they are in all English.
In all English. Okay. Can you describe well, you already did that. But what is the end goal basically? So you are teaching right now in 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your goal right now? And also, what kind of curriculum do you use for the kids?
Well, we use various curriculums. Like for example, A-Leaf gives us a curriculum, but for like math, they use this. They use a curriculum called Math and Focus, which is really good. It's from Singapore, and we've seen a great amount of growth in the students. And then for reading, we just use Texas Treasures, our own things that our specialist gives us or that we find ourselves. But it's great, and we incorporate everything with SIOP, the Sheltered Instructional Observation Protocol.
Okay. And how often is English or their native language used in your classroom, since it is a transitional? So you just said like they go to an all English classroom. So how often do they use it in 3rd grade then, if it's all English, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty much they talk in their first language. I don't allow them to, but like when they're just talking like common, like normal, like at recess or lunch, they start speaking in Spanish. But I do, whenever I'm teaching, if they don't understand something, I do say it in their first language, so they're L1. So that's kind of like part of the SIOP aspect of things that we use here at Boone and A-Leaf. But it really helps. But we can't, I don't teach like full on an entire lesson in Spanish. I just use language 1 as a modification for them to understand what I'm teaching. And I also only teach in Spanish to newcomers. So anybody that just arrived in the country, I must teach them reading in Spanish. Every other subject they get in English, but only newcomers get the first 2 years that they arrive in this country in Spanish for reading only.
Oh,
so
okay, wow.
only for newcomers I teach them in Spanish for reading.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So what type of ELLs do you have in your classroom? Because we all know ELLs vary. So you just said sometimes you have a couple that just like barely come in. So how is your classroom right now? Like, what's the variation?
So
what kind of students do you
obviously I have newcomers, just they have no English, no background knowledge in English, and then I have beginners, intermediate, advanced, and advanced high, and I guess we can even get to GT kids. So I do have a variable of newcomers all the way to GT spectrum. So I have to teach according to all of their levels. So everything has to be modified to what it is that they need. So a lot of what I've noticed that really works, even though a child might be advanced or advanced high, and then I've got beginner and intermediate, I still use a lot of visuals, and like we act it out, we use our cognate. So we definitely use a lot of our language 1 to help us, because even though it might be somewhat easy for the advanced high, they're still able to truly understand the concept, and then the beginners and intermediates, they finally get that aha moment where they understand me instead of sitting there clueless. So, and then usually for the higher students, the advanced high, I always add additional extra components to what I'm teaching them so they can go deeper than what the beginners and intermediates need.
So you have to use a lot of like differentiated learning throughout all of your lessons in order to meet all of those needs. That is crazy. Okay. Do you enjoy working with ELLs, and why?
Okay. I absolutely love working with them. They're so cute. What I guess I truly love about it is that once I honestly notice that what they need is a lot of that sheltered instruction, that differentiation, and the moment that they get that aha, it's like the greatest feeling in the entire world, So I just feel like when they finally get something, then they're able to like add on more knowledge onto it, or whatever knowledge they have of it, or new ideas. It's just like, wow, So that's what I truly love about them, because you truly see growth from the beginning of the year all the way to the end, even though it's 3rd grade and it's all English, but there's a substantial amount of growth at the end of the year.
And that's very rewarding, I'm sure.
It's awesome.
Okay, let's see. What advice would you give a future teacher of ELLs?
I would advise you to use a lot of the SIOP, the Sheltered Instructional Observational Protocol. I don't know if y'all know about that, but ALEAF is really big on SIOP. And at first I didn't really get it, but I did some further studying. I took a master's class on SIOP, and it was like really eye-opening to me how it truly helps, you know. And I feel like the SIOP aspect of things doesn't only need to help ELLs, it can help all students, you know. Like, we work in ALEAF, and ALEAF has a very, you know, it's substantially very low poverty, so it's like their language vocabulary is already low, so using SIOP with them also just is awesome. They need it too. So I feel like this is just, SIOP is the greatest thing that I've ever come across, and now that I truly understand it, I just see the like truly what it's meant to do, and like how it's truly helping these kids. So
how effective it is.
Yeah. So if you use SIOP, use it. And if you don't, well, get on it, because it's awesome.
And then lastly, what do you think about the big focus on standards and high stakes testing? And do you find them beneficial, harmful? I know this is a controversial topic, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see. So you teach ELLs, how do you think high stakes, how does that affect both your curriculum? And do you think like that's actually a good representation of like what they know, what your students know?
I mean, no teacher likes teaching towards tests. But from my experiences of only being a third grade teacher and everything being based off this test, I think with using proper SIOP aspects and incorporating that into your curriculum, your daily planning, you can truly move these kids to actually improve in these high, you know, this testing, whatever testing it is. Obviously, a lot of people say that children by the third grade, if they're not reading on level, it's like once they get out of high school, their future doesn't look too bright. Okay, that's what statistics say. But I don't like to think of that, because a lot of my students, out of all my students, I've never really had all my students reading on level. I mean, that's very rare because of the program that we use, and because they're, you know, it's just different. So I don't like to think that because I have these certain types of students that they're not going to be successful in life, or if they don't pass this STAR test, they're not going to be successful in life. So I don't care what the test says. I just care that they move up. Just as long as you move up and you grow from the moment they enter my classroom till you leave, then you will be successful. It's not a test, but you do have to try.
But you do have to try.
Yes, you can't just give up.
And I think that's basically it. I think we're good. So thank you for letting me interview you, and that's it. Thank you guys.
Yay.